Hello, and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
And for this episode, we have a very special guest joining us. It's Eddy MacKenzie. You're allowed to talk now.
Yeah.
Well, I was just wondering why I was waving at a podcast.
I was like, I full on assumed that it just crashed at my end.
Yeah.
I thought your audio had cut out.
I just had a moment to myself going, why am I waving at an audio-based audience?
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Perfect start.
I'm sure they felt it.
Yeah.
Just... Dear, oh dear. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Welcome.
Nice to be here.
What movie have you bought for us to look back at today?
I have chosen the wonderfully bombastic Van Helsing.
Wow. What a film.
Yeah, so what's your history with this film? When did you sort of discover it? Was it one that you watched a lot before? Or?
Well, I remember it as a childhood film. Although I was depressingly, I was already 13 when it came out. So
Perfect age.
It would have been, it was that kind of, I was already really into Lord of the Rings and like fantasy and monsters and all that kind of thing. And this came along, I think it was after the first Underworld, and we were kind of back in that mid-2000s vampire thing that happened. And this was like the sort of classic retelling of the whole Dracula thing. And I think it was just after one of the X-Men as well. So it was a perfect melting pot of all the things I was into, with Hugh Jackman hunting monsters, and it was badass, man. It was very cool.
Yeah, I think the early 2000s vampire thing is called Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
She is in everything.
Boy.
For some reason, my memory of this movie is being invited to the cinema to see it for a friend's birthday, but I was ill and I couldn't go.
Oh.
I think I've seen it once since, and all I remembered was the fight with the brides in the little village at the start. That's the only thing I could remember from this.
Okay, weirdly, that was the only thing that stuck for me. I didn't watch this when I didn't deliberately watch this when I was younger. I might have seen it, but this is one of my husband's favourite films. And it's like this weird fever dream that I catch about 20 to 30 minutes of it every, 2 to 3 years. And remember none of it. Every single time I'm like, who's that? Why is he here? I mean, it's not like who's that as in, because you can tell who they are. It's like in a literary sense, you know, oh, okay, that's Dr. Jekyll. But it's like, why are they there? And then, who's on whose side as well? Still not sure. And I've forgotten pretty much everything already.
I don't know how you can forget this film. I watched this film so much as a
It's
kid.
just a blur. It's just a blur of
Right.
very little dialogue, lots of fighting, and lots of swooping around.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's the perfect movie.
But
They
it's
don't need a script.
No, it's
and all the characters all kind of look the same. Like the people characters. It's like people and their monsters, but then like some of the monsters are friendly. Some of them not so friendly, and some of them aren't friendly and then are, and then they team up, and then it's like, wait, no, why are they, and then why are they in this? Okay, and they dive into like a pool or something, and then they're in they go through a mirror that's not a mirror, and they can tell it's not a mirror, and I don't know.
It's perfect.
That's the movie.
Yeah, that's it. It's the opposite of Underworld. Underworld was mostly dialogue with a few fight scenes. This is pretty much just fight scenes with a line of dialogue.
Because I was like, I've missed plot points here. But then I'm like, were there plot
no
points, or does it really just?
It's one of these classic
cascades.
adventures where things just happen. Things happen and nobody explains why. It's wonderful.
This is exactly what they wanted to do with the Dark Universe across several movies. They should have just watched this. It does it all. Everything you need.
They took themselves too seriously. This was when films kind of laughed at themselves and had fun.
Yes,
It is. I think bombastic was the word you used, wasn't it, Eddie? It's it's a
yeah.
lot. Please, can we go through the plot, please? Because it's the only way I'm going to understand what happened.
Yeah.
So we start with the black and white Frankenstein movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I mean, the opening is so cool.
The opening
It's
that
so-
That genuinely
Yeah, I
made me
loved
think
it.
I found the wrong dodgy link.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, because this is definitely another movie that. So Eddie, there's a thing that we have on this podcast, and it's called the Netflix Curse, which is a movie is on Netflix forever until you're about to watch it for this podcast.
Oh my
And then
days!
it's removed. I am sure that I have seen
Oh,
Van
yeah.
Helsing on Netflix a lot before.
I assumed it
Yeah,
was.
literally.
Yeah.
I remember. I definitely watched it about a year ago, and it was on. I'm sure Netflix. They always know. They know when you need
Yeah.
something, and they take it away.
So many
Ghastly.
films. So
I
many
didn't
films.
feel guilty streaming this on a sub-legitimate website because
The high-
we
the
do
high
have
seas. The
we-
high seas.
Yeah.
As we
do have the DVD. It's just that the laptop that I wanted to watch it on does not have a disc drive.
Oh.
So I was like, well, we've done the legwork. We've paid some. And, I also paid for it on Netflix for like 5 years or whatever, how long it was on
Yeah.
there, until last week. So, yeah.
I
No,
think you're
piracy is bad.
excused.
Stealing is wrong, but some stealing is less wrong than other stealing.
Yes, it's a victimless crime. I think you can be allowed off with that.
I felt like a victim.
So yeah, it starts with Frankenstein. It just
Yeah.
starts with the
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein film.
Yeah, I did
It's
really
cool.
like the like cheesy hammer horror kind of vibe that it was giving with like the sort of black and white and like definitely like overacting as well, but it just made it like the intro to this is so good.
It's so hammy, and like the lighting is impeccable. As a homage to like old Hammer horror, it's sensational. They
Yeah.
just totally nailed it.
It's nonsense as well because you're like, okay, this is Frankenstein. Because when I was little, when I watched this film when I was younger, I assumed that Dracula was just part of the Frankenstein story. It's not. I learned that not long after I watched it, but Dracula turns up after Frankenstein monster is made,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I'll take the monster, thank you." That's it. That's what he does.
Mm.
He's like, "I want
He's
the
the
monster."
he's the connecting point of all of these stories.
Yeah.
He's the
Yeah, I
Nick
was trying to work
Fury of
out
the
like
Dark
does
Universe.
he say at the start why he wants it, and I'm like, I don't think he did, but I'm
He-
like I could have missed that.
I think he says it's because he created life, and that's what he
Mm.
wants. He wants like the creation of life.
But it's not till later he says that.
Does he not say that? Okay, so he just like, I'd like
At
Frankenstein.
the start, we
please."
have no idea.
No,
Yeah.
Excuse
You're
me,
like,
I see
okay.
you have built a big man. I would quite like to purchase him.
I would like.
I guess to
this guy.
assume it leads you to believe that it's going to be Van Helsing versus Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Or Frankenstein's monster.
You can't
Um,
assume anything about this film watching it. And from
Well, I
scene to
learned that
scene, you can't assume
very
what's happening
quickly.
next. It yeah.
He's quite a camp.
All of them are.
Well, I
Everyone.
mean,
Oh.
every single character is, but he's also I'd say one of the camper.
Dracula.
Who Dracula? He is so like it's Rake from the TV show Rake. It's Richard Roxburgh. He is overhamming the hell out of. He's like, as they would say, just chewing scenery. This whole
Oh.
movie.
Chewing the heck out of the scenery.
I don't.
He's having the time of his life. Is
I don't think you
Dracula?
can play Dracula not hammy.
Yeah.
Dracula as a character is inherently because you play him like straight, he's boring. If you have to play him like this massive, you have to eat every scene he's in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You have to eat all, and he played so good. He's such a good Dracula.
Oh yeah.
It feels so weird to say in such a not good film to be like, this is one of the better Draculas.
But I think once you've been alive for hundreds and hundreds of years eating people, you would go a bit mad and start just dancing around and being a ham, wouldn't you?
you'd also stop caring. Like, you look at old people who
Yeah.
say whatever the hell they want because they've stopped caring. Like, when you're hundreds and hundreds of years old, I can't imagine you care about anything in the world.
Dracula is so free of irony. He just
Yeah.
cares not. Not at all.
The ultimate person to be. He's released all sense of shame. It's great.
Yeah.
So I was just cheating.
Did you look it up?
I was looking up the plot because, no offense, it's actually not our strong suit going through the plot.
Yeah,
We've already
I
failed.
make intensive notes of the plot, and even they're nonsense most of the time.
And honestly, it's such a hard cut anyway. It's
Oh, yeah.
so the angry mob burn. So Dracula and Igor go off together. Or,
They go off together as a relationship.
Well, they
so they go to a windmill, and then an angry mob burns down the windmill.
Yeah.
And then it's like
Frankie.
hard cut, but because of how this film is and how this is how it feels. In the plot summary on Wikipedia, not even a paragraph break. Just a year later, monster hunter Gabriel Van Helsing travels to Notre Dame in Paris and kills Dr. Jekyll after a brawl with Mr. Hyde.
Yep.
Like that's a different.
No, it's
Like-
the same. It's
That's a
Like,
whole
it's quick,
scene
yeah.
where he shoots a grappling hook through a big man's stomach. You know.
Yeah.
Oh no, I do. I remember it happening, but it's like in a sort of storytelling narrative. It's Wikipedia has just summarized it
It's
like
sudden.
it's. Oh yeah, of course. So
Yeah.
leading on from
That's
the
that-
windmill burning down.
That's where Frankenstein 2
House-
starts. When you read the Frankenstein books.
I mean,
These
when-
are all very normal,
Yeah.
common plot beats. Come on,
Exactly.
keep up.
Sorry.
Windmill burns down, snap to Paris.
Yeah, the gothic monsters. They need to get through all of them. It's so But yeah, he's in Notre Dame fighting Mr.
Mr.
Hyde.
Hyde. Yeah.
Who
And he
is-
becomes Dr. Jekyll just before he absolutely smacks into the ground dead.
Yeah, and we get to see Van Helsing do the underworld thing where he drills out the floor and
Yeah.
the cool scene from the underworld.
Oh
They
my
just
god,
do
that bit
again.
was so funny.
They just do it again, and it's great. That needs to be in more films where they drill out a hole around them to drop down a floor.
But he doesn't drop down. He hides in the bell.
Yep.
He subverts it.
Yeah.
He's so
Yeah, they-
clever.
Saw the underworld scene.
I do really like the idea though of him just spinning round like he's riding one of those hover scooters. What are they-
Roombas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Roomba. As it spins around with blades on it. It's just like
Those blades seem like such inefficient weapons as well. Because they're close handed.
not a lot of reach.
No, you have to be real close with them, and at that point, use a knife. But
Yeah.
they just
Or
seem
like
really
a turkey
inefficient
cutter or something.
monster
Turkey
hunting
carver.
weapons.
It's
I will
basically
say-
like a big pizza cutter.
Yeah,
Well, it's just kind of less useful Beyblades.
yeah. Less fun Beyblades. More dangerous. It could be more fun. If you let 'em go. I like his weapons though. I like the introduction of Van Helsing's weapons and medieval Q. I like that.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
where
yes.
the Red Pope is like, hey, you need to go and do this. Go speak to Faramir. He's going to give you an automatic crossbow.
Yeah,
It took me so long to realise it was Faramir. He looks so dorky in this with his little what's it called?
we have 4 actors, and we're going to use all of them all the time.
Bald what's the bald spot that thingies have? Monks?
Don't know.
Funny little quiff.
But he is medieval Q, and that's
Yes.
all he is for the whole film. He's like, I make you weapons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, I made a
Dark
sunlight bomb.
Order.
I wonder what it's for. I wonder if it'll come up in this movie where we fight vampires.
Yeah. I do like the dialogue. I know what it does. I just don't know what it's for. I really like
Yeah.
that. It's like a
Yeah.
thing. So you don't know what it does. I know what it does. Just don't know what it's for. Oh, they really did. When you said this film came out at the perfect time for you, I think it came out at the perfect time for itself because they used the action feels like an X-Men film, like an early X-Men film, because they have all the weird gadgets and the slow
Yeah, it's
mo and the falling.
weapons, but instead of powers, I guess.
Yeah, but it's the same feel, and it had Underworld to be you know what vampires are and werewolves.
And of course, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
Before-
that'd come out by now as well, yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
these films came out at the perfect time for Van Helsing.
and
to
it's
exist.
League of Hellboy as well, and
Yeah.
all these films sort of came out, and they had that whole gothic action thing going on.
Needs to come back. It'd be so good. That
I
is
really
what-
miss it.
That is what the MonsterVerse should have been, is gothic action.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
pomp
Campy.
and camp nonsense. Bring it
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, because they
Love it.
tried, when they redid The Mummy to start it off, it was too serious and dark.
Oh,
need-
it was
you can't-
boring.
Yeah, Universal Monsters are camp. They are camp as camp can be.
Exactly. That's why they got the same director that did The Mummy to do this one. Like, I
Yeah,
only realised that after watching it, that, oh yeah, it's the guy that did The Mummy and The Mummy Returns.
Yeah. Make them camp.
There we go.
They would have done the MonsterVerse that Universal tried to set up would have been incredible if it was like didn't take itself seriously and was like high camp and
Oh,
did
yeah.
it and felt like they filmed. It would have been so successful. And
What a
it-
world we could have
what
had.
a world
And
we
you
could
just
have
have
lived in.
vampires that are seemingly also cute sugar gliders.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
And doesn't his gun, like, not gun, is it, well,
Crossbow.
It's a
Automatic.
crossbow
Yeah.
to start with, and then he just gets a fucking revolver at one
Yeah.
point and a shotgun just out of nowhere.
well,
Yeah.
it's a crossbow that sort of shoots out little bolts that then become other things, doesn't it?
They're like
at one
little
point-
stakes, I think.
Little
Yeah.
stakes, yeah.
At one point, it's James Bond as well. That's also another film that he got to ride. The
Yeah.
victory of it is the new James Bond films. 'Cause
It's
you have-
very post. What was the Pierce Brosnan ones? It's
Yeah.
very the world is not enough and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just
I-
like ridiculous action that doesn't need to make sense.
No,
Exactly.
you're watching it for the
That-
action.
That's why it goes into directly into the next scene, which is they trap a werewolf and Kate Beckinsale kills it, but her brother called Falcon gets killed. Or Farkin,
Ah.
I think it was.
Well,
That's
we
just
learn-
immediately. It's like, here's your weapons, cool. Now there's some bloke tied to a post and there's a werewolf coming.
Well, we
Deal
learn-
with it.
We learn that Dracula exists, and Dracula is. Well, we don't learn that. Van Helsing learns that. But there's like a family that's always tried to hunt down Dracula and kill him, and if they don't, they don't get into heaven. And it's the last two children.
I didn't realise that was I thought it was just they had to save it was that their village's quest was to make sure it was to try and kill Dracula.
Yeah,
No,
that
no,
explains the
it's-
cloud ghosts.
If the family,
Yeah.
if none of the family ever get to kill Dracula, none of the family get into heaven. They all
There
go
was
to
a
hell.
pact.
Yeah,
Ah, that's a lot of pressure.
there's a lot of. That's why they were so stressed the entire film.
She looks
'Cause
good
they-
for someone so stressed, though.
They did. I mean, it's Kate Beckinsale stressed constantly. But yeah, we get to see Kate Beckinsale being a cool vampire hunter again.
Yeah.
The very mid 2000s unnecessary gratuitous spinning Kate Beckinsale from behind shot
Yes.
is cinema.
Yeah, incredible.
And her
oh.
outfit of like a real tight leather underbust corset and just
It's
ringlets
Yes.
for days.
It's essential for combat. How is she meant to fight werewolves if
How's
not
she
in
gonna
tight
fight
leather
werewolves
jumpers?
if she can breathe?
Can these boots go any higher, damn it?
I mean, at least it's a bit less leathery than Underworld, which we've spoken about Underworld before. I think we were mainly talking about the smell on the set of that movie. Just leather and
It must have
sweat.
been awful.
Oh, God.
Because she had to get
Oh.
sewn in and out of that. She had to be like sewn into it and cut out at the end of the day. She didn't smell
Wow.
good. Yeah.
I think that's probably like the, you know when they sell candles for men, and it's going to smell like the set of Underworld.
You would sniff it though, wouldn't you?
You'd have to try. You'd be like, well, just. Oh,
I'm gonna
man.
find
Wow.
out.
This film, she gets a slightly more normal, if not unhelpful, costume.
Yeah.
Where she,
Yeah,
where she
rigid.
she manages to do completely impossible acrobatics, and then you constantly remind yourself she's not a vampire in this one. She's just a person.
Yes, and it confused me so much that because she's sort of this beautiful woman, and that's fine, leading lady, fantastic.
Yep.
But then we have these brides come in, and it's like, oh shit! Now there's loads of hot women everywhere, and I can't keep track of that many girls.
Yeah.
They're
There
wearing
were-
their pretty dresses, and some of them can turn into albino chipmunks.
Yeah.
The costume design is sensational across the board.
I
Like
must
this
admit-
movie.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, I'm just saying they knew how to dress in this
Yes.
film. It was incredible.
What was I going to say? Oh God, it can't have been
Oh,
good.
no.
It can't have been good.
Oh no!
The brides of Dracula are great though.
They are.
They're so everyone is wearing like black and brown and grey, and then the brides are in these like white outfits.
They look like
Mm.
WWE wrestlers.
Yeah,
Yeah, they go. They're definitely going for more of like a fairy, ethereal kind
Well,
of vibe.
they're brides, which is
Ooh.
probably why they're in like. I imagine that's probably why they're in white. But
Yeah. I mean,
And-
you say brides, but I know that's technically what they are. But
it does tell
it's.
you.
Yeah,
calls
no, I
them
know,
brides.
I know. But in my opinion, the concept of a bride is just someone who is getting married.
Yeah. No,
But no, them it means they produce frog spawn for Dracula.
That's like they're like the brides of Dracula. I think that's a thing in. I don't think the original novel, but I know in like
I was
offshoots.
gonna say I don't.
Look,
brides.
Dracula fucks, okay?
Dracula.
That is the important
Oh.
message.
Any of the Universal monsters, Dracula
It
absolutely.
just makes how
fucks.
campy is even funnier.
What do you
Yeah.
think he needs that blood for? He's dead. He's not got any inside him. He can't get it up on his own.
Dracula, of all of the monsters, Dracula is the one that absolutely does.
Yeah.
Doesn't Will tell you about it? Especially this Dracula.
Yeah, he's.
There's something quite Grecian about their outfits.
Yeah,
Ooh.
but I
Mm.
think the flowy cloth stuff. I'm doing the arms. I just realized.
It's very physical.
You should
episode.
see this.
It's incredible. I think the flowy material is meant to be their wings.
Yeah,
Like
probably.
it helps them. The transformations
You.
of I think it's meant to be like, oh, they're reminiscent of their wings when they turn into horrible skin monsters.
Because they do show the transformation that body parts become clothing and
Yeah.
such. So I think
It's
that's
weird.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
unpleasant, but it's
Oh,
what I was going to say earlier is there's only a year between
Yeah.
A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen 2003 and Van Helsing 2004.
Oh.
The animation in this is significantly better. I
Oh
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
The transformations are horrible to watch.
Yeah, they're so
But-
it's because they're so different as well. Like
From
especially when you get the werewolves just ripping their own skin off.
Yeah.
Oh,
But also
yeah.
the rules are vampires can change their clothes as well when they turn, but
Yeah.
werewolves no. They are not allowed.
We want to see sweaty naked men. Damn it!
Yes.
We got to get them in somehow.
Women and Dracula need to be. Well, the women need to be relatively scantily clad. Dracula needs to be in a suit at all times.
It's so camp. It's
so
all just so camp.
But the werewolves are shirtless by demand.
Yeah, and deeply sweaty.
Yes.
Like vampires do not sweat. Werewolves only sweat. That's the rule.
Yeah, it's because werewolves have more pores.
You do-
Oh!
oh no.
I'll
Oh!
go.
Yeah. Leave. Get out. We warned you.
That's my one joke of the episode. It's fine.
Even comparing like the two Hydes, the two Mr. Hydes
Yeah.
in this, like
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's bloody terrible in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
He
As
looks
mu-
like
as
a
much as
tank
we
from
remem-
Left 4 Dead.
So I was part of me was sitting here watching it, thinking like, this reminds me of the League of, and I was like, it reminds me of like how the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen really had no excuse
No, none at all.
for how crap the animation was.
Yeah.
But it has got the same vibe of that, like, fantastic. Obviously, they're slightly different time periods in an incredibly blurred way that time periods are kind of applied to them. But in League, it's obviously it's a bit more modern, sort of
Yeah.
Well, it's just the start of the war, isn't it? Is it
I
first
like to think they're the same.
Sort of, yeah, Victorian, post-Victorian.
post-Victorian? Just getting, but still, corsets and glam can come out as and when required.
Yeah, mainly
Yeah.
the vampire characters wear the
Yeah.
corsets in
Yeah, because they don't need to breathe.
No, not at all.
No.
I mean, it's the best look for a vampire. They don't need to breathe.
This is why it's like what and then Kate Beckinsale's there, not a vampire.
Yeah.
Until I watched it this time round, I was sure she was a vampire the whole time, or something like there was some sort of twist because I was like, the way she looks and the way her like makeup is, she kind of she's not as glamorous like the brides, but there's something very vampiric about her, and she's wearing this bright, this little blood-coloured jacket.
Yeah.
The whole time.
I think you put Kate Beckinsale in a corset, she looks like a vampire no matter what. Like, I think that's
Yeah.
just part of what she looks like. I think she looks more like a vampire in this than she did in Underworld.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially.
Because of But, so they fight off. The fight scene with the brides in the town centre is
a good fight.
great. It's such
It's
a
so
good
That's
fun.
the only thing I really remembered from previous watches.
It also has the best shot in the entire movie, which is where they throw a cow through a building.
Yes!
Like, yes, that is perfect.
For absolutely no reason. He throws a cow through the window.
That poor cow's so confused.
It's
I mean, at least
fine.
it survives. Like,
They
Yeah.
do show you
Oh,
at the
yeah.
end.
That was, yeah.
It is fine.
Yeah, if you go on to www.doesthecowdie,
Yeah.
it'll be there. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, no animals were hurt in this film.
Yeah.
They
It
make that
could have
very
upset a lot of
clear.
people.
yeah. But yeah, that whole fight where it's like they're fighting and then all of a sudden it stops because the sun comes out, and then I'm like, oh, okay, so does that mean it's daytime now? No, just that it wasn't cloudy for a minute.
Yeah. And I like to imagine, like the vampires must have just been like waiting. Just kind
Well,
of sat
there was this
come
didn't
on.
they have like a deal where like the vampires could nick a person or two every now and then, and they were kind of chill?
As long as
Yeah, that-
yeah.
Because they got really grumpy when he kills one. And they're like, oh, they only killed for their fill. Now they're going to kill for revenge. Oh.
Yeah. Because he kills one.
Well, let-
Well, I mean, first he gets like a bottle of holy water, and that gets thrown into the well, which makes me think: is that entire well now holy water? How does it work? Does it like
There is-
Homeopathic
spread, or-
holy water, though.
Yeah.
So it only really works if you believe it works.
There
Yeah, but he does
There-
then dip his auto crossbow into holy
Yeah.
water and just shoots the fuck out of one of the
So
vampires.
ridiculous.
Which is-
Yeah.
yeah. The more sentences I say in this episode, the more I'm like, yeah, sure.
I like the way he dips the end of the gun and aims it at her, like he's gonna fire one clean shot and kill her, and then he's gonna spray her entire body with crossbow bolts.
You know, he's got it on full auto. He's just going.
Yeah, she's a vampiric sieve by the end.
Yeah,
Of it.
it's incredible.
There is that wonderful moment where he's been shooting them all and nothing's happening, and the friar guy throws him the refill, going, "Aim for their hearts!" And you think, "Oh, he's going to be more accurate now." No. Continues to just spray wildly. It's like, he's not changed anything.
It's very cute. It's very cute Bond kind of relationship there, where it's like, and this, you know, you can use this thing, stab them right in their heart, and it's like, or I could just shoot them in the brain or wherever.
Yeah, spray and pray. It's the best tactic. The prey being holy water.
This is a precision weapon, so I'm going to fire it as much as possible.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not a pain to reload. Like,
Oh, can you imagine having to put the stakes in those things?
Oh man.
It does sort
Yeah.
of remind me of when I every now and then I would go around my friend's house, and I wasn't allowed any
crossbow bats.
Yeah, fight vampires.
Yeah, we just shoot each other. Eddie, I wasn't allowed to play violent video games in my parents' house.
Oh,
For a
I
long
sympathise. I had a similar.
Up until I was about, I think, 6. I think when I was 15, I was then allowed to play 15 rated games.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you can't stop me now, Mum. And I
Legally allowed.
played, mostly played Batman. Yeah, I was terrible at COD and everything like that because I just didn't get the hours in at an early age, like
Yeah.
most people do. So the amount of times I just go steaming in with a sniper rifle, like I'm gonna kill her, and it's just like, okay, she's dead straight away. And they're like, oh, you need to aim, and then suddenly everything's blacked out, and it's like, oh yeah, you've got the wrong gun. It's like, how do you change the gun? And it'd be like, okay, no, you've just launched a grenade at yourself, and it'd be like, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna watch.
Oh dear. You
I
hadn't
played
built
I
up
played
the
it again
muscle
the other
memory.
day, and it was still bad. Still never really.
Well, games have
never
got
really got
harder.
it.
Games have got people have just gotten better at games. So
Not me.
yeah,
Unless you count The Sims.
no.
I don't think they have like a competitive Sims tournament. They don't have like
Whoa.
the Sims League.
Oh, I bet they do somewhere. I bet there's like a competitive
Build a
Sims
house so fucking quick.
league. Who
Yeah,
can
like,
live the full life
guys,
of
have
their
you
Sims
even
fast?
heard of lot challenges?
Yeah, see,
What?
knew it. Yeah, people. If there is a video game, people will make a competitive scene for it.
In Sims, just to enlighten you guys, because you're a captive audience and no one else will let me talk about Sims. There's this thing on the
So
Sims
in
where
Van
you can-
Helsing. Sorry, go on.
Feel free to cut this, Dan. I won't be that upset.
It's fine.
You can upload. You can share. You can upload your characters that you've made onto the gallery, so other people can download them. So people make like celebrities or cool families or whatever. But you can also download custom content, which is just like mods essentially. And some of them are really like impressive. They make the Sims look beautiful, like, as long as your computer can run it, like whatever, go mad. But they upload them onto the library, and people download them thinking that it's a base game, amazingly beautiful sim. They're like, oh cool, that's so much better than anything I could have designed, I'll download it. And it just comes out and they have been catfished to fuck with what comes out of it, like bald, cross-eyed, like nothing works. Or they just look like, it looks like when you load a Tomb Raider like PlayStation game and you're like, yeah, I don't quite see Angelina Jolie in this one.
Yeah, I know there is a competitive farming simulator scene, and I know that because I watched about an hour of it.
Wow.
Okay.
It's not the most exciting thing to watch. It's
No.
Yeah,
Literally
doesn't
watching
Farming
grass grow.
Simulator come with quite a lot of
uh-huh.
wait times?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. There's a lot of math involved in farming simulator. It's great.
You know what, Mikey? Thank you, because I was feeling really dorky talking about The Sims
No,
there, and you know what? I feel so much
Yeah.
better now.
I watched about an hour of farming simulator competitive scene, and the commentators were in on it. Like they were 100%. It was a good time. Van Helsing, though.
Van Helsing.
Honestly, just gonna put it out there. Podcast episode is still easier to follow than the movie.
Yeah. Okay,
No,
right.
it's
My
really
the one
fine.
bit that I got most confused at is literally coming up right now. So they finished the fight, blah blah blah. There's the obligatory, oh look, she landed on him in a sexy way scene.
Yep.
Anyway, why the
Oh.
fuck does he gas her and knock her out? And then she wakes up and then it's just the movie carries on?
Yeah.
Like he just like shoots gas into Kate Beckinsale's face. She
That's why
wakes
I was
up,
confused
sees her
about whose
werewolf
side people were on.
brother.
Oh.
And then, spoilers, her brother becomes a werewolf. And then, suddenly he's there and they're fighting the werewolf. And I'm like, what the fuck was the point of that?
Was it because she doesn't want him to kill her brother?
He
And
Well,
No,
he
it
this-
was
was-
before that he gasses her.
She wanted to go and look for the brother, and he was like, "No, it's she wanted to." But then she didn't know. No, what was it? She didn't know the brother was alive. She wanted to go after the vampires, I think.
Yeah, just run straight after them and be like, right, and then, probably definitely get killed. That makes sense.
And so Van Helsing was like, "No, it's nighttime, you crazy. What are we doing?" And then gasses her. Yeah, it's quite extreme.
I think he just wanted to skip a conversation. He's like, I don't have time for this conversation. Just put it
They
out
sort
and
of
then-
reached a point in the script and went, "It needs to be nighttime.
It
How do
needs
we? Let's
yeah.
gas the leading lady." That's
How do we
it.
get from one scene to the next? We can't do the traditional star wipe anymore.
They could have, and I'd have been fine with it. I'd have been perfectly fine with it. So they find out that her brother is a werewolf because he got bit by the werewolf. I can't
Munched.
remember. Yeah, and it does. I do love a good painful werewolf transformation.
Mm.
I mean, it's visceral.
Yeah, love it. There are a lot of werewolf movies where they just kind of turn into the werewolf, and it's like, meh.
Ooh. I want to
Anything
see skin tearing and ribs crunching and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to look like it takes something out of them.
Yeah.
oh
it's a
yeah.
curse,
Because otherwise,
make it-
it's kind of a neat trick.
Yeah, you can turn into a dog. It's great.
Mm.
I'd spend.
They really, yeah.
If I was a werewolf that could just turn into a werewolf whenever I wanted, that's all I would be. That's all I would be. 24/7.
Just fully wolf.
You know what game you can turn into a werewolf on?
Is it Sims? It's a
Yeah.
lot of games, actually.
Is
Not
it
Farming
is it the
Simulator.
video game of Van Helsing 2004, which I am just going to assume exists? I'm going to
Probably.
look that
Oh,
up.
I
really
did
hope
see a
there is.
Google image of it,
No.
so I want to play it now.
I think
Very intrigued.
I have a vague memory of it was either that I played or the Underworld video.
Oh yeah, it's
game.
a PS2 one as well.
Nice.
Oh my god, it looks like
Ooh.
absolute shit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a PS2 game, but that
Yeah.
means that sometimes you can recognise the characters.
Yeah, it looks
Definitely.
like the only screenshots I can see so far basically looks like it's Mortal Kombat,
Yeah.
but it's Van Helsing fighting everything else.
Great.
I mean, that's a very
Wow.
sensible way of doing it. Because Christ, just doing this as like a movie
No.
plot follow along.
I want an open world Van Helsing game.
I bet it is really badly.
Oh, it's-
Like the fight in the fight scenes, it is still the whole movie. You have to watch the whole damn movie, but this time with PS2 graphics for all of the cutscenes.
I promise
But they've
it's
just
not
lifted
same.
the audio straight from the movie.
Oh no, they wouldn't get no. The audio is definitely someone who is not Hugh Jackman.
Who is very small in this comparatively to like now Hugh Jackman.
Huge Jackman.
Yeah, I mean, even
Hugh
like
Jackman.
early X-Men films, he just looks like a moderately muscly dude. Whereas now he looks like he's just fucking... I don't even know.
It's an inhuman way to look. That
Yeah.
level of jacked.
Hugh
No,
jacked.
Yeah, it wasn't really till X-Men Origins that he was muscle bound.
Yeah.
In the first one, definitely, he was just like a scruffy dude.
Yeah, like he was muscular, but he wasn't like he could still
Yeah.
close his arms fully. Like he wasn't.
He wasn't a Dorito man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he could scratch his own back still.
It's,
You guys
yeah.
all just sound jealous.
definitely.
I'm immensely jealous.
Yeah, it's an.
I'm
it's
not jealous that I don't look like
I
Hugh
mean-
Jackman.
He could be absolutely ripped to like shredded in this, but he is always wearing a trench coat.
Huge.
Yeah,
leather
you
jacket.
only
huge
see
leather
him at-
trench coat.
You only see him sort of like shirtless at the end when he becomes the obligatory shirtless werewolf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He becomes a werewolf at the end.
he does.
Yes!
Oh, what?
Kind of a
No, I'm,
major-
I'm kidding.
It wouldn't have surprised me if you were like, no, I fell asleep.
Yeah, he's normal looking in this. Wearing a trench coat all the time is not a good idea when you're running around a lot, I imagine. It's the smell. The smell of the set is
Yeah.
not good again.
I guess you can wipe the various monster viscera off yourself a
Yeah,
bit
that's
more
true.
easily, though.
That is true. Doesn't have to deal with blood on his waistcoat.
All the vampire baby goop.
Oh,
Yeah,
Well,
can we talk about the vampire babies?
let's
Because
talk about vampire
We
babies.
can absolutely
fuck?
talk about the
Yes.
vampire babies. Little gremlins.
yeah, it is Gremlins.
And
But
even
they
Hugh was
watered
like,
the shit out of these rides.
I guess this is what happens when vampires mate. Really,
Yeah, you get a
Hugh?
weird cat bat thing.
Tiny alien thing.
Yeah, they are just like frog spawn on the wall as well.
Yeah, they're just huge
And
like egg sacs. And how did they give birth? That
Yeah.
can't have been pleasant.
Well, I imagine it was closer to like a fish.
Yeah, they've got cloacas instead of
But it's when he was like going to reach it to like touch it, and she was like, "Don't touch it." Obviously, it's gonna be horrible to touch. It's like, no, I need to. And then little fucking gremlin
yeah.
alien baby comes out.
Because
And then
as much as we've talked about the plot, the basic plot of Dracula is that he wants to his children will never get born unless he feeds them life. So he tries doing it through the werewolf brother, and that doesn't work. So then he's like, Frankenstein's monster that got life somehow.
That worked once.
That must work. If I do that, that will make my babies be real. That's his whole thing.
Because he awakens all the babies, and then they all just explode.
Yeah.
Because they don't have enough life. Well, Hugh Jackman, Van Helsing, kills a load of them with his spray and pray machine gun.
And at least when there's that many of them, that's a bit more of a reasonable approach.
Yeah. He set it to full auto and just opened fire into the air.
Isn't this the point where he gets a shotgun as well?
He does also have a shotgun suddenly.
He does have a shotgun.
An unexplained shotgun.
And a revolver.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's easier to make the small, horrible creatures explode with then that looks good with a shotgun.
But he's not as cool as an automatic crossbow.
No.
Do you reckon Q made those guns, or do you reckon Van Helsing just turns up with the guns and Q's like, I made you cool crossbow weapons? And Q's just upset. Because,
Well, he had 2 handguns fighting Hyde.
Yeah.
So I assume guns are just part of his normal repertoire.
Maybe you
the
can't
crossbow
fit a
was
stake in a
specifically,
gun.
the crossbow is specifically for Transylvania. So maybe he already had the shotgun as well. Maybe that was just part of his. I'm a monster hunting guy with a shotgun.
He was
what
like, these aren't
era is this?
It's because he got the early access DLC stuff. So he got like some pretty good weapons early on in the game when he shouldn't have.
Yeah. Real. Well, he did that thing where you play one level as your full power, and then it knocks you down a load of levels, and you have to build back up. That's what it did to him. So now he found the handgun and the revolver and the crossbow on the floor somewhere.
Just left them lying around.
It's not. I can't even remember.
Microtransaction?
Yeah, he bought them.
It was a loot crate.
Yeah.
He found the seller guy with the big jacket. I'm trying to. Oh,
What are you buying?
a Resident Evil style Van Helsing game would be incredible.
Oh,
Like that'd be incredible. That'd be a good game. Play.
Big silly monster
Wait,
hunting
you
nonsense.
think that would be better than Van Helsing PS2?
Probably.
maybe just slightly.
Oh, that'd be such a fun monster game, though, if you played as Van Helsing killing monsters. That'd be sick. It'd be such a good game.
Just as much IP as they can possibly cram into it.
100%. Well, they're all, out of copyright now, so you can use them.
Oh, yeah.
No one's going to be like, oh, you can't use Frankenstein's monster. You can. I don't think... Can you do that? It's like Dracula.
Sure.
I mean, you can even use that rat that has a boat now as well, so...
What rat? Oh, yeah.
That's the weirdest way to describe Steamboat Willie. That rat with a boat.
That river rat with a boat.
I was just thinking,
I was so lost.
I don't remember that scene in Ratatouille.
Yeah,
that film's not that old.
My brain instantly went to Ratatouille, and I was like, is that in the sequel? Like, when does Remy get a boat?
Is that
Remy
Ratatouille?
The only cinematic rat is Remy from Ratatouille.
I recognise
No,
none of the rodents.
there's quite a few rats in this, isn't there?
No, not like named cinematic.
No.
I'm not just saying like the only rat in all of cinema is Remy.
So I've watched quite a few videos, people who train rats for sets.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's really cool, and I'm just like, I'm watching them and I'm like, my rats could do better than that.
They could be stars.
If I only gave them the chance.
You're holding them back. They should be in Hollywood. These beautiful rats.
Just in a cage made out of cheese.
What a terrible cage. What an awful cage.
A Malibu cheese cage.
The amount of times I've just left the cage door open and they're all just asleep.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh shit, when did I close that? And when did I open that? And I'd be like, going on 30 minutes. They haven't noticed.
No.
They don't want to go anywhere.
They like it. I'm trying to think what happens. what else happens in Van Helsing.
So the next bit of Van Helsing... So
Isn't there a
Van
mirror?
Helsing fights Dracula and stabs him with a stake, but that doesn't work for some
Yes.
mystical reason.
Oh, yes.
And then Dracula's talking to him, and they're like having a chat, and he's like, "Yeah, you were there ages ago," or something. And then the babies explode, and then they grappling hook away.
Yep.
At this point, we are now halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
I do like that they keep hinting at what Van Helsing did, because Van Helsing has no memory of what he was.
Yeah, I was going to say, we do get a bit of Van Helsing backstory of he doesn't remember his backstory.
Yeah, and I like that they
The
keep
classic
teasing.
Wolverine from the first X-Men backstory.
Again, this film only exists because of the film
This
that
could be
came out
another film.
just before it. We never learn anything proper. We learn a little bit about his backstory, but it keeps on threatening to have an exposition dump. It keeps threatening throughout the film to be like, I know what you were, Van Helsing. Sorry, Gabrielle.
Well, I guess is he Gabriel? Part of me was like, is that because he's a angel?
No, his name.
Well,
Yeah.
It's one of these films where it doesn't exposition dump, and there are all these hints of what he could be, because there's a moment when they're back in the house later on, and the little friar guys, all there is this brief mention of the right hand of God, and I'm like, is that Gabriel? Is he like a servant of the heavens, and he's in this eternal battle with Dracula? Nothing is explained, and
No.
you just have to kind of put
Yeah,
pieces
it's
of
up
it
for
together.
interpretation for sure. Like whatever
love-
story you think it is, it is.
Yeah, I
Because,
love
like,
that they.
Is he from Transylvania originally? Like, I don't understand any of it.
Yeah. No, I do love that it inches closer to telling you, and then Van Helsing goes, I don't want to know. Something that bears the next, and they keep like edging closer.
We're gonna
to
cut
that,
the
like,
next scene.
answer, and they're like, I'm not
This
gonna tell
film's
you.
already way too long.
Yeah. I'm not gonna tell you, and runs away.
They're like, we need to cut something. They're like, I'll just cut the fucking backstory.
to cut the exposition.
No one's going to be paying attention to that anyway.
I think he's an angel. I think he's Archangel Gabriel.
Yeah. I'd
That
say
would-
so. It's just weird for it to be hinted at and then not like be an explicit reveal at some point.
Yeah, because they explicitly reveal who Dracula is. A couple times they tell you who Dracula is.
Yeah, they're literally like, he was the guy's son, and he made a deal with the devil. You know exactly who Dracula is.
Yeah. And the reason that the family's cursed is because of that. Because the dad couldn't kill Dracula, couldn't kill his son, so his whole family line was cursed.
But then it never tells us who murdered Dracula, and was that Gabriel?
I think that was Gabriel,
And that's why, and that's where they're like connected.
Yeah.
It's so like.
Because it also kind of hints that Van Helsing is also a member of that family. For like a moment, it kind of hints that he's a member of that.
And then they're like, oh shit, we're doing a Luke Leia thing here.
Yeah.
And then they totally smooch, and you're like, oh, is this all right? I don't know if this is all right.
And they're both like, right, how many generations back?
Yeah.
Do we have to be related before it's okay? Say
And then
after 3.
They backpedal. They backpedal but stay vague about it.
That was definitely the obligatory early 2000s. We need the characters to kiss for some reason.
Yep.
Because there was no connection between those characters like that before.
Absolutely no way.
There's way
There was more connection before Faramir and that random woman that he fucks. Like...
Oh man, yeah. Actually, I'm only a friar. Ba-ba-da-ba-da.
There's more chemistry, as bad as it is, between her and her brother
Yeah.
than there is
Lord.
between Van Helsing and her. What is Kate Beckinsale's character's name in this? I can't remember.
Anna? Yeah,
Anna.
Anna, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think
the
her brother's
friar is called
Farkin?
Carl.
Yeah.
That's not an old name.
All of my notes just say Faramir. I didn't know.
So what happens? I know the
okay,
individual
right.
scenes. I just
Then
don't know
they
how
go to the windmill somehow.
Yeah, they
Oh,
fall
yeah,
into
they
the
go to the
windmill,
windmill.
and then Frankenstein's monster is there, and he's the key to life, and then they have to get him to Rome, so you have a quick bit where they
Oh.
nothing's
the
faster
chase
than-
is amazing.
You
Yeah,
wanna
nothing
talk
is
about-
faster than Transylvanian horses, apart from fucking vampires that can
No.
fly.
Do you know why Transylvanian horses are so fast? It's because all the slow ones got eaten by vampires.
Yeah.
That's why. Bill, can we talk for a moment? If you want to talk about eating scenery, chewing scenery, Frankenstein's monster in this is eating every single thing he comes
Oh.
Is he the
He's
one? Is he the one
incredible.
in the ice cube?
No.
Yeah,
he
he's in an
is
ice cube towards the end for a minute. Yeah.
briefly,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, because that's how I remember him as a character.
He is performing Frankenstein as a stage play, as far as I can tell. He is such a big actor. It's incredible.
Everything
was-
is so dramatic.
Yeah,
I was
so
really confused
dramatic.
between like his character, like the Frankenstein's monster, and Igor.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Igor really feels like
turns
standard.
to the evil side.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they have a whole fight scene on the cart, and well, first of
Yeah.
all, Van Helsing, like they're running and the bridge is destroyed and they're being chased by vampires, and they just fucking leap the bridge, and I was like, wow, this is, they say jump to the shark, but it's jump to the ravine.
Yeah.
But then
Well,
it turns out, it was a decoy, and it was full of a bomb and stakes, so they can kill the bride and just blow the fuck
Yes.
out of her.
It's because they don't like Frankenstein wants to stay hidden because he's like the end of the world. But
Yeah.
the werewolf spots them, so he's
Yeah.
gone back to tell Dracula, and Frankenstein's monster's like, "Kill me now, kill me before they find me."
Yeah, because Frankenstein's monster, they're like, if we get him to Rome,
Safe.
then I can hide him. And it's like, that's really far.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's multiple that's a continent you've got to cross
Yeah.
there. But,
But yeah, then there's like more of a fight on the cart's on fire, and they're just fighting some shit. And then Van Helsing gets bitten by a werewolf,
yeah,
and then
it's so
Dracula's like, oh, give us the monster, we'll give you Anna back. Because, he's kidnapped Anna at this now, because he kidnaps her.
Yeah, one of the.
And then they
one
go
of
to
the-
Budapest.
One of the vampire. One of
Yeah,
the
how did they end up in Budapest?
Ooh, I forgot
Fast horses, I
I
imagine.
forgot that part.
But
of
they've
this was
like
in
lost all the
Budapest.
horses.
Yeah.
The whole this is a very silly bit of the film.
Yeah, so
they go so far just to have to come all the way back again.
yeah.
Why were
So
they
they
in
hide
Budapest?
they hide the monster. They hide Frankenstein's monster in a mausoleum, and they're like, no one's going to get him out unless the dead help. And then, oh my god, you will never guess what happens as they say that line. And then there's like a masked ball that they all go to.
Yeah, well,
And-
they're like they want Anne back, and he says, "Oh, we'll do it. We have to do it in public, where
Yeah.
Dracula can't do his shenanigans."
Yeah, and there's a big,
He's holding a
like,
ball.
huge hall full of people dancing, and Anna is dancing with Dracula. And then, like, they do a move in front of a mirror, and she is the only one reflected. And at first I was like, oh, nice, they're just showing that Dracula has no reflection. And then I was like, hang on, this room is
No one
full
has
of
any
people.
life.
Yeah. It's a clever little bit.
Yeah, and it's nice to know that when a vampire puts on clothes, it also disappears in a mirror for some reason.
It's good to know. Yeah, good bit of
Yeah.
lore.
Yeah.
A wee bit of
How many coats do you think you'd like put on just to see like what is the upper limit of
yeah.
how many jackets you can wear before they stop being part of you?
100. As soon as you become either a vampire or a werewolf, you start testing like every bit of lore you can think about to see what's true.
Oh, and it's always like people like the old vampires are just tutting in the background, like, oh, fuck's sake, newbies.
You're like, no, I'm gonna work it out.
Everyone's stacked the hats. We all
Start-
know that it's 23 and a half.
Start limit testing. Vampire lore. How much sunlight hurts?
Well, I can tell you how much sunlight hurts. Enough that if you had a sunlight grenade in a room full of vampires, it will Spider-Man Green Goblin bomb.
Yes.
Just turn into skeletons.
Film is only good because of the films that came out before it. Just before it.
Yeah.
Because it is all of them. Yeah, they get chased by everyone that's a vampire that's at the ball. Because
Yeah.
Dracula did some shenanigans.
It was
Yeah.
genuinely quite. I don't want to give it too much credit and say spooky because it wasn't genuinely spooky, but like it's a good
was-
bit when everyone turns and like
Yeah.
looks at him, and it's like, oh shit, no, you're not just a little bit outnumbered here. Everyone in this party is gonna kill you.
You're struggling to fight 3 vampires, and it is tense for like a good 30 seconds, and then the medieval Q comes around the corner and goes, "I know what this is for now."
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. That's that scene. He drops it on the floor, and they jump out the window, and all of the vampires die.
They all explode. And
That's
then,
it.
but Igor escapes with Frankenstein's monster. And then they go back to Transylvania so they can put a scrap of paper that Van Helsing has on a big bit of paper and make a mirror they can walk through into the Dracula realm.
Yes, of course.
Do you reckon when they were leaving, the townspeople were like, "Oh, thank God, they're gone," and then you're like, "Oh God, they're back." It's causing more problems.
Yeah, it's kind of worse to have them leave and come back than have them never left.
Yeah, and then they read the rest of the inscription. This is where we learn Dracula's backstory because it tells us that.
And it turns out only a werewolf can kill Dracula.
That's not even then. That's later. They don't work that out till later.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
Because they put the thing in the picture and then read it out in Latin, and it's something like, "By God, open this door," or like, "In God's name, open this door."
Yeah, and she's like, my dad never worked it out.
Yeah.
And he was really fucking smart. So you're not going to work it out, you dumb piece of shit. And he's like,
what you
it
have
says
a
open the
scrap
door.
of paper.
Out of frustration, did that overly religious
I looked up
man...
the walkthrough.
But like, out of frustration, this very devoutly religious man spent years of his life trying to open this door. Never, not at no point shouted angrily at the mirror, "In God's name, open the door." Just by chance.
It really reminds me of the speak friend and enter riddle in
Oh.
Lord of the Rings.
And it's also not when
Where it's like,
only when he
dumb,
says
clever, clever, dumb, kind of
Yeah.
like...
It's only when he says it in English as well, which is funny. Because it's just I don't understand how a devoutly religious man who has met God, explicitly met God, didn't at no point go, "By God, open the door." The door turns into a mirror and they slide through.
But when is a mirror not a mirror? When it's a portal to another dimension.
The snow realm.
Dracula's prison.
Yeah, it's the ice level.
Yeah, it is. So we get boss music at this point. This is where the third music comes in.
Massive health bar appears at the top of the screen.
You know it's going to be bad because an autosave triggers.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of health potions as you come in the room.
Yeah, a convenient chest of useful things.
But they fight Igor. Igor like catches them because Frankenstein monster's in like a big ice cube now for some reason.
Yeah.
They also is that just to keep him alive? Is he like because he's rotting?
It's just to keep him
stop him
still.
from breaking out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also Dracula has a werewolf cure because if someone's a werewolf and tries to kill him, he can stab them with the werewolf cure.
Yeah.
And that means he can't die. And it's kept in acid?
Yeah. Some viscous liquid. It's never it acts like acid.
It's the props department having fun.
Yeah. I do like that Van Helsing works it out. I don't like this is the one bit that isn't just someone says it.
Yeah.
Because Igor's like, "Don't kill me, Dracula has a cure for werewolfism." They go, "Why? Why does he have it?" And they genuinely work it out, as opposed to, "I read this book and it told me."
Yeah.
Because he's like, "Why does he have a thing? Why does he have it?" "Oh, it's because it's the only thing that can kill Dracula is a werewolf," which is so cool. Like, that's a cool bit of lore that I think should be used more. Yeah, so they split up. Van Helsing's like, "I'll go kill Dracula. I'll go wolf out and kill stop Frankenstein and kill Dracula."
It's wolfing time.
It's wolfing time.
It is wolfing time. You go get the cure, so once I've killed Dracula, you can make me not a werewolf. Because I'll be permanently a werewolf at the 12th stroke of midnight, because you need that.
Yeah, because Van Helsing is also a Disney princess.
He's also part.
And then, like, it hits midnight and many more than 12 strokes happen.
Yeah.
Like, that whole bullshit.
Yeah.
That's like a
just
10-minute
completely-
fight scene.
Completely forget about that.
But they go get the cure, which is in that liquid, which they smash and then just throw a load of acid over one of the vampire brides.
And like over the
yeah.
door as well, because they're
That
like,
was clever, the door.
Yeah.
yeah, because of course Igor tricked them and locked them in, and they're like, we have acid.
A ball of acid.
and then
And then there was that great line from Igor when he does the door and he's like, "Oh, you get Igor! Igor get you!" It's just like
away.
everyone is loving their silly little accents in this film. It's
Then-
just like
so now Faramir has to go across a bridge of lightning, and at the same time, Kate Beckinsale is there with the last bride, so you can have the obligatory
fight.
girl fight of the
Oh,
early
yes.
2000s movies.
Except this one, it's so you know when you watch something from this side and you're like, someone parodied that because it's Kate Beckinsale in the dark wandering around, and you see this vampire woman flying in the background,
Yeah.
and I just like at some point she's gonna drop down on aerial silks behind her and do a little dance. It was
This whole bit is so convoluted because it's like Igor
Not like
and
the rest
Faramir
of
are
the
fighting. Frankenstein's monster escapes and like swings down, and the way that the bride is defeated is that he happens to swing in through that window and just fucking kicks her into a wall.
Yeah, she really goes splat, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Nothing is as good as Igor chasing Carl across a bridge with the zombie thing. It felt so out of place and so funny.
It's so stupid.
It's just like everyone's having this epic, amazing fight, and they're just having this like petty slap fight across the bridge.
Yeah.
What it felt
Oh
like.
no!
While lightning strikes around them as
Yeah.
well.
Like everyone else is this cool trained fighter, and they're just like, no.
And the vampire eggs start to.
Yeah.
Is that when they come out as well?
Well, it's
Yeah,
'cause
they all
Frankenstein-
So they've already started hatching. Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry,
because
yeah.
they're too
So
late.
Frankenstein's monster's energy has made them come alive, and it's all.
And now they're all fighting. I did really enjoy the fight between Werewolf Van Helsing and full-on fucked up Dracula.
Oh,
It's
like
so
the
good.
CGI of the monsters is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
transformation
of course,
was fun.
like Van Helsing's wolf is the most badass we've seen so far.
Yeah.
It's like massive, sleek black hair. It's so cool.
I love how Dracula's cockiness shifts. So he starts out like, we could be together, we should be friends, we should be allies. When Van Helsing is in werewolf form, he's like, we shouldn't fight. There's no need for us to fight. Why would we fight? We could be buddies. I'll book us dinner. Let's go on a date. And then as soon as the moon gets covered for that like brief minute, he goes back to, haha, I am the best creature in all the world.
Yeah.
You are powerless against me. And the moon's uncovered again. He's like, oh, best
Wait a
bud.
minute.
I didn't think that would happen.
Oh.
Oh no. Good buddies again, I see.
Oh.
That fight scene is weirdly enough, the end fight scene isn't the best one in the film. It's like kind of epic. They have a bit of dialogue. Dracula threatens to tell us more of his backstory.
Oh yeah. Van Helsing's just like, nah. I'm good.
Yeah, he has that like sick line where he's like, "Some things are best left to history,"
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Oh.
it basically just he's just basically like, "I don't care, nerd," and rips off his coat, and it's like, it's wolfing time.
There's also the other cool line where like Anna ends up fighting the final bride, and the bride's about to kill Anna, and he's just going off on some big speech, and she just like I think Carl stabs the bride in the back with a stake, and she's
Yeah.
like,
He throws
"You're
her
gonna
the
kill
stake.
someone, do it. Don't just talk about it."
Yeah.
That is so cold. Yes.
Yeah.
That is a really good line.
And then
If you're gonna
Kate,
kill someone, just kill them.
Kate Beckinsale jumps from vine to vine to save
Yeah.
Oh my god,
To
yeah.
get across.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
Wolf
Like-
Van Helsing rips out Dracula's throat, and then
Oh.
Dracula dies, and all of his babies are just exploding.
it's
But then
so-
Wolf Van Helsing attacks Anna, and she
Dracula's-
has the cure.
Dracula's death is incredible because he's
Yeah.
this big camp
Mm.
villain throughout the whole thing, and he dies in an instant.
Yeah.
Van Helsing turns back into a wolf and bites him in about under 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I guess this is over now.
Anticlimax.
He just
Yeah.
nips him, and it's like, okay. We've
And then
won.
Carl's like about to kill him, and then it's like it kind of he turns
He
around
gets
and it's
stabbed.
like he's been stabbed by the cure, but oh no, he's accidentally killed Anna because you need a character to die.
Yeah,
And now she can become a fucking cloud ghost.
yeah. Now she can get into heaven.
Yeah.
I think somebody in the writer's room probably went, they could be brother and sister. Let's just kill her, shall we?
make
Just to be
sure.
safe.
Yeah.
And the Frankenstein's monster survives and he sails away somewhere. And
Oh,
yeah, they have a
yes.
funeral pyre for Anna. And then Van Helsing and Carl ride off to hunt another day in the sequel we never got. Because days after this was released, they were like, you know what? No. Let's not.
What would Van Helsing 2 even be about at this point?
The
Like, they
mummy, I imagine.
Mm.
Oh, that'd be. But like
Oh.
Brendan Fraser's The Mummy.
Yeah, they're set in the same universe. That would have been a really cool way of doing this shit.
But the cinematic whiplash, the stylistic whiplash between this film and The Mummy.
Van Helsing and like just
Van
Hugh
Helsing.
Jackman and Brendan Fraser like
Incredible.
Wow.
teaming up.
Love to watch that.
That really gives me vibes of the 21 Jump Street Men in Black
Yeah.
crossover.
Yeah, that never happened, sadly.
Yeah.
Uh,
When they tried to redo the monsters, the MonsterVerse stuff,
Hmm.
why did they start with the Mummy and not, Van Helsing?
yeah.
The hunter guy that hunts them all. Why did they start with like the vaguest monster?
Exactly. And then have that photo shoot when no one was actually there, and
Yeah.
then it
And
gets
then-
cancelled. And then you get that really cool Invisible Man movie that
That had
like,
nothing to
Blumhouse
do with
did.
it.
Yeah, nothing to do
Oh,
with it.
that
It's
was
fucking
cool.
good.
That
Yeah.
was such a good. And then you had the sequel. Did that come out, or did they still working on that?
No, I don't think that did come out, no.
Yeah, there's not a sequel.
No.
Because I think they wanted to do the Invisible Woman, was like the sequel.
Yeah, because that was kind of what it hints at the end, is that she's going to go around and get vengeance on
It was like her
Yeah.
dealing with the trauma.
But Van Helsing was
That was a great.
fun time. Did
Such a
it
fun
hold? So
movie.
Eddie, you say you watched this about a year or so ago. Like, what do you reckon was like the longest gap between watching it and then did it hold up to your memories of it?
Oh, so I remember I watched it a lot growing up. I had like the big fancy green double DVD edition of it. So I used to watch it
Special
quite a lot.
features.
Oh, it was incredible. I as a kid, I had awful taste in films, and I loved this, and I loved League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and I loved all these nonsense, big bombastic,
Yeah.
like fantasy action films. I still love them, like they are awful, but I love them. So I definitely watched it a lot as a kid, and then I remember it must have been about a year ago. Me and a bunch of friends watched it again because we were talking about it. We were like, how badass did vampire films used to be? And it was mostly talking about Blade, because that's up there with the kind of
Aww.
Yeah.
mad old vampire
Yeah.
thing. And then we were like, does anyone remember Van Helsing? We're like, oh my god, we should watch Van Helsing. So we watched it like a year ago, which is why I know it was on Netflix or something. So it's been about a year since then. And then before that, probably 10 years. So like, I don't know. I definitely still enjoyed it, watching it today, as much as I probably did watching it 20 years ago. Because it is just so, like you were saying, it's very silly, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. And it's that perfect kind of, like Pirates of the Caribbean, it's like all these films of that 2000s era action cinema, where it was just enough silliness. And it's like, the wires are there. Nobody's trying to pretend that
Yeah.
people aren't on wires, and it's silly CGI, and it's so bombastic and camp, and nobody's trying to win an Oscar, and it's just fun, and it's blockbuster movie nonsense, and I love it so much. So much.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, obviously terrible, but like it's not.
It knows it's terrible.
It is
Does
not.
it? I'm not convinced it 100%. I'm not. I'm convinced some. I'd say about a solid maybe 50 to 60% of the cast think it's a riot.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's exactly it. Like it's such. It looks like so much fun. Oh, everyone's having a good time.
Just like, I am Vampire Queen. Wait, no. I
Wrong
am
one. Wrong one.
No. Where's my leather? Oh, no.
Nobody
You've got
signed up for
brooding, moody Hugh Jackman. You've got your funny little Faramir. You've got the greatest Dracula. Because this would was this after the the Dracula with Keanu Reeves? I think this was post.
I think so, yeah, because I think Bram Stoker
That was
Dracula
99?
is like 97, maybe, something like that.
So we had like a serious Dracula film, and then this was just ludicrous and wonderful and camp and leather and nonsense, and it was just.
Oh, 1992. Oh, that's older than I thought.
92! Oh, man. Oh,
yeah, the fact that this film came out almost 20 years ago has just horrifically aged me as well.
like a truck.
Oh, but I was very surprised in terms of holding up how good the CGI looks.
Yeah, I was impressed.
It's
with the
incredible.
CGI. It looks like, I mean, okay, the werewolf isn't the fluffiest.
I think it suits the rest of the movie. Like,
yeah, it
fits
blends
the world
well.
it's in, because there's such big over-the-top sets, and it's all just kind of cobwebs and chains and shit like that. And so the CGI fits that really nicely, because they've matched it to what they have.
Yeah, when the gun already looks ridiculous and 99% like cardboard and pipe cleaners.
Yeah.
You don't expect the CGI to be like amazing, but it matches the energy.
This film has that like so many 2000s films, even the X-Men films from this time, they all kind of felt a bit cheap.
Yeah.
And they were big, they were really expensive films, like they had massive stars in. They all kind of feel a little bit like the walls wobble like cardboard.
Yeah, no one was investing much into them at this point.
No, but they all have that like vibe of cheap but fun. And
it's very Doctor Who-esque, just pulling things together and making it work.
It's not that bad, but it's very much as long as it looks cool, it doesn't matter the logistics.
In comparison,
it's the rule of cool.
In comparison,
just make it
now,
work.
Where like every film now has to be so sleek and clean. Back then, everything is a mess in the best way.
I imagine it's like they work to their limitations, and so that kind of helps. Like,
but even in the writing,
this plot, I mean, the film has no flow.
No, that's what I mean. Like, even in the writing, they're like, we need the next scene to start. They're like, okay, we can just start it. We don't have to like transition. We can just end this scene.
How are we going to set the scene? What do you mean?
No, what do you mean?
Start.
Just start it. Just do the scene.
Turn the camera on.
Budapest.
I thought you were a director.
We don't have time for establishing shots.
No. Just put the word Budapest at the bottom of the screen and it'll be fine.
I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
I honestly, now that I understand the plot a little better, I'm like, maybe I'll enjoy it more the next time I see it. Because I know it's in my future. Like, I'm not going to choose to watch this film again, but Jim will.
Absolutely.
And he did watch it with me the other day, and he was like, you're not paying attention enough. You're not watching it properly. You don't get it. And I'm just like...
You're not doing your homework well enough, Helen.
But... yeah, I think I'm kind of up for a rewatch eventually, which is a good sign, because there's some films where I'm like, I would have been better off if this had not been made.
There's a lot of those films we watch. Awful lot of those.
I think I'd give it 4.
4 is shockingly low.
Right.
Out of 5?
Out of 10.
Out of 10.
Oh my god, 4?
4 is
Four?
far too
It's
low.
less than half good. What are you saying?
I said it hesitantly. I tried to brace you.
Is it a high 4?
Yeah, it's a high. It's a strong 4.
Oh, strong 4. That is bold. That is bold judgment.
It's not great. It's 2 out of 5 stars. You know, like it's a 2-star.
I mean, fair enough. Fair enough.
I'd say okay. Out of, if we're going just from the period that it's from, the early to mid noughties, 4-star film. One of the better-ish one. Well, no, not even 4-star film. 3-star film. Knock it up to a 6.
Yeah.
But out of my entire experience,
Out of all films, it's a solid 4.
I mean, I was gonna go for my rating was gonna be a 6. 6 out of 10 cows thrown through a building. Yeah, like I had like a good enough time with it, better than I was expecting. Like I said, considering I've definitely seen this at least once before, but all I remembered was one scene. Like maybe I just saw that bit and turned it off. I don't know.
Stopped watching.
But like it was nice. It was a nice watch. It was a little bit long. I wasn't when I first went to watch it, I wasn't expecting it to be just over 2 hours, which is an acceptable film amount of time. But when something could be bad, that is a long time.
There's a scary amount of time.
Yeah.
I did hover over the play at 1.5 speed, but I was
This film would be incomprehensible.
Yeah, no, I think rightfully, like, I'm glad I didn't, because I don't have a clue at the best of times.
Any faster, this film would be useless. This film would be unwatchable. But I think I love this. I really like this film.
Yeah, I think there's a certain little rose-tinted nostalgia. Over there. No, it's just amazing. It's just amazing, and you love it.
I don't think it's rose. Like I understand it's a bad film, but I think that makes it good. This film is completely without ego. This film is completely like it's so stupid, and I don't think no one signed on to this film like I might win an Oscar. No one signed up for this film thinking this was gonna be the defining point of their career. They went, that looks like fun.
Yeah.
And we get to go to Budapest for a bit.
Yeah, I get to dress as a cool guy and eat the surround. Sure, I get to act like hell. Great. I don't think it's trying to be anything other than stupid fun, and it is stupid fun. And I think like 8 Vampire Bride speeches, I think is, or 8 overacting scenes with Frankenstein's monster. I think is the best thing. Yeah, I just like this film. I enjoy it.
Yes.
Enjoy it.
Well, thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah, what would you give it a rating of out of 10 if you had to?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm definitely in your side, Mike. It's fun. It's silly. It's not the kind of thing that gets made anymore because cinema is in this weird position where people things cost $1 billion to make, and if it's not guaranteed to succeed, they don't make it. So you don't get weird little creature features and campy homages to old school monster films. And if like with The Mummy, if they tried to make this now, it would be all serious and edgy and it's cool, and they'd be trying to impress the wrong people. So I definitely saw it originally at a very good point because I was a mad little sword obsessed teenager, and I've watched it again now as a mad little sword obsessed adult, and I agree. It's just fun. It's nonsense. It's not gonna. It was never gonna win any awards. It's got a 6 point something on IMDb. It's got 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. They did not like it. But yeah, I like a lot of films that a lot of people think are crap. And I think it's just an example of fun, popcorn, cinematic nonsense. And I would give it, I think, a similar. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
Hold the phone.
But I would very comfortably give it 8 flaming crucifixes out of 10.
8 missed shots with it.
Because it's just, I watched it today and I'm like, this is great. I never like, I wasn't bored. It was silly. I was just watching it like, oh yeah, this is ridiculous. Give me more, please. Om nom nom.
Yeah.
It's like a cheap chocolate trifle. You know, it's not nutritious, but it's delicious.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
That's a very good analogy, actually.
Angel delight of films.
Yeah! It's the cheap dessert at the end of a movie.
This film is goofy. Goofy is the way I describe this film.
As a person, I don't take myself very seriously, and I enjoy things that don't take themselves seriously. And this film, like you say, people signed on to have a good time and make a bloody silly movie. It's not a film, it's definitely a movie, and it's just outrageous. And I'll watch it again, damn you. I'll watch it 1,000 times.
Not on Netflix, you won't.
Not on Netflix. Oh dear! Now I want to play the game now as well. I'm in Van Helsing mode.
It's also on Game Boy, so that's how you know. Excellent.
What?
Game Boy Advance.
PS2 to Game Boy.
PS2, Xbox Blank, and Game Boy Advance.
Wow. I'm gonna hunt this down.
Yeah.
What a film.
I guess with that, I have been Dan.
I have been Michael.
And I've been Helena.
And I suppose I've been Eddie.
I always think Dan's gonna... What?
Yeah, I always forget. We're like, oh, this is how we introduce it, but we don't tell you what to do at the end.
Yeah. I just went on sheer instinct there, guys. This is slick media.
Better than The Wave. It was better than The Wave.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great movie to talk about. Great having you on.
Thank you for having me.
Where can people find you? Have you got any shows coming up or anything? This should be coming out this Monday coming, as long as I can edit it in time. So.
Ooh. Yeah, I suppose. Well, I don't know. I'm a Glasgow-based comedian performer, man, and I was just down in London at the weekend, actually. But I mostly do gigs around Scotland, sometimes down south. I'm gonna be in Newcastle in May, I think. I should have prepped something to talk about. Find me online, and all the details are online, and I try and get around the country when I can. But I've also got, stuff on YouTube and all sorts of things.
What's your handle?
Well, I'm pretty much Eddy MacKenzie at every place, apart from on Twitter, where I have to have an underscore at the end, because a dog is already called Eddy MacKenzie. And I don't have the heart to try and get rid of them. But it's Eddie with a Y, M-A-C Kenzie, awkward at both ends. And yeah, I'm all over the place. I'm on the Instagrams. I love a TikTok. I do most of my nonsense on TikTok. Come find me and let's have some fun.
Nice. Well, you can find this podcast on social media at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod.
No
on
dog's
Discord
called Hilton Pod, so
yeah,
we're fine.
Not yet.
You dodged that bullet, yes.
Yeah, we have a Discord as well. You can find the link to all these in our show notes. But yeah, we have a Discord. You can come and tell us if your online handle has been taken over by a dog. We also have a Patreon, so you can support the show if you want to, get some bonus episodes, get shout out. What special thing are we doing with the Patreon money this week?
We are going to use your Patreon money to redo the Dark Monster universe, but entirely in the style of this Van Helsing film.
Can it just be a straight-up sequel?
Well, no, we're
No,
rebuilding.
they
the
killed all the
franchise.
decent monsters.
Yeah, go for
We're
it.
Fucking
rebuilding the
scraping the
franchise.
barrel from the start.
And we're starting with Van Helsing, who is going to be played by a different character, not Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman's going to be in it though. He's going to do a cameo.
He could be.
He could be
Hyde.
Dracula.
Oh,
He could be Dracula. Oh,
Oh
I think
my.
Hugh Jackman would make a fucking good Dracula these days.
he'd make a wonderful Dracula.
Who we're going to have to be Van Helsing? Is
would be
it
Van
Timothy
Helsing?
Chalamet?
And
Oh God.
Timothy Chalamet as the friar would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who'd make a good Van Helsing? I don't think. I can't think of one.
what about that golden boy kid from Gen V?
Oh, Arnold
Oh, yeah.
Schwarzenegger's son. Yeah, he'd be pretty
He'd
good.
make pretty good
Oh.
Van Helsing.
Oh my.
Well,
And,
Yeah.
yeah.
if you happen to know
Indeed.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's son and have the rights to the Dark Universe, please let us know.
Yeah, anyone at Universal, tweet us.
We're ready to invest.
We're ready to write for you. We'll rebuild this franchise for you. And we'll do it, well, in the worst way possible. Don't worry, the films will be cheap. That's the goal. That's the cheap is the goal that we go for.
I hate to break it to you guys, but the AI image generator says Hugh Jackman as Dracula has a content warning as it's been blocked.
What?
Damn. Too
what's a
sexy. At the end, we need to get Dan to show you the live light he got. Like the on-air light he got is amazing. It's incredible. We'll show you at the end.
Yeah, it's really good. You turn it on and it definitely doesn't blow out the camera and become unreadable.
It's incredible.
And also only ever records when he's home alone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, there's varying levels of
Great.
the
It's one of
yeah.
the funniest things.
Yeah. Right, okay. Are we ready to clap sync? So I'll count to 3 and then we'll all clap on what would be 4.
Cool.
Right, ready?
Okay.
Right. 1, 2, 3.
Oh my god, it's so much lamer on camera.
It is.